So, friends, welcome back to One Day IoT Workshop, and myself, Kavidia sir, and this is the last session for the day. And I hope, friends, you might have enjoyed the session first, which is on embedded system, the session two, which is on IoT, that is Internet of Thing. These two were pre-lunch or your pre-test session. Now friends, I hope you might have written your answers properly, because I've asked you some questions in between, which may be part of the test. So now friends, the last part for the day, that is the session 4, which is input and output system. So prior to this, the third session was about Arduino basics. So we have seen what is Arduino, what are its different types, what are the different flavors, how to program it, how to install the IDE, and how to test the Arduino even. So we have seen all the different things, and now let's see the final session, that is input and output system. So friends, here I'll be explaining you something about the sensors and something about the output and some applications. Basically sensors, there are lot many sensors available, so we'll see that one after another. But friends, if you want to see in more details what are input devices, what are output devices, please go to the channel and see the videos on input device, output device, serial communication, and there are some few videos which are for the sensor interfacing and their code explanation, because here I have a limited amount of time where I can't explain you a lot of things. So if you want in more details, you go to my channel and see all these videos one by one. So let's friends, we'll start with the session 4 of today's most happening event, that is One Day IoT Workshop. So this is session 4 and myself, Kavide sir. I'll take you to the tour of input and output systems. So let's say what is first of all input. Now input are also called as sensors. Now these sensors are devices that changes physical parameter into electrical output. So sensor will take the data from the input device or the physical parameters like temperature, pressure, anything, and convert it into electrical output. Now, sensors are sophisticated devices and that are frequently used to detect and respond electrical or optical signals. Sensor converts physical parameter. Now, what are those physical parameters? It will be temperature, blood pressure, humidity, pressure, intensity, vibration. There are a lot many such parameters. So we can convert this into an a quantity which is measurable, and that is an electrical quantity. So that electrical quantity can be given as an input to my Arduino, and Arduino can process and control the devices. So a pressure sensor senses the pressure and convert it into an electrical signal. Same way a temperature sensor will sense the temperature and convert it into an electrical signal, and the sensor which senses the intensity will convert that intensity into something what is called as electrical signal. So for sensing the intensity, I use LDR, light dependent resistor. Fine. So now the sensors can be of two types: analog sensors and digital sensors. These are analog sensors and these are digital sensors. So analog sensors will give you the output which is dependent on time, or it is changing with time. So the parameters like temperature, speed, pressure, blood pressure, intensity, the wind flow, all these are analog quantities. I can't say temperature is either high or low, but I say it is 34 degrees, 35 degrees, 25 degrees, 26 degrees. So it is varying with respect to time. So since early morning till late evenings, the temperature varies. In the morning times, it is low temperature. In the mid afternoon, in the midday, it is very high, and again back to the low. So it is varying with respect to time. Same way is with my intensity, same way with my pressure, same way is with my speed. All these are called as analog quantities. So physical quantities which are varying with respect to time are called as analog quantities, and for such quantities I need analog sensors. The second sensors are digital sensors. Now digital sensors gives output either high or low. So presence of light, suppose high, absence of light, low. Presence of temperature high, presence of absence of temperature low. Or high temperature as high, low temperature as low. then presence of fire is high, absence of fire is low. Presence of gas is high, absence of gas is low. Such presence and absence can be detected with the digital sensors. So the gas sensor, fire sensor, alcohol sensors are digital sensors. They will give absence and presence of the what do you say, gas, pressure, I'm sorry, gas, fire, sound, alcohol, and so on. So friends, if you want to see more on these sensors, you see my video on my channel Kavidia sir with input devices. So let's see what are the different sensors. There is temperature sensor, proximity sensor, accelerometer, IR sensor, pressure sensor, light sensor, ultrasonic sensor, smoke and gas, alcohol sensor, touch sensor, color sensor, humidity sensor, tilt sensor, flow sensor. Means all possible things which you can imagine for measurement with your intuitive mind, and if you want to convert it into a practical, a sensor is available. I've already told you this thing in my session third when I was discussing about Arduino and input devices. So there are a lot of sensors shown here. There's a color sensor, you can see a gas sensor, LDR. LDR stands for light dependent resistor. This is thermistor, that is temperature sensor. This is proximity switch. This proximity switch will tell you whether somebody is near or far. Then this is rain sensor, it will detect presence and absence of water. PIR sensor will detect presence and absence of human being, and so on. There are lot many sensors, a gyroscope, a soil moisture sensor, a photo sensor to detect light. This is IR receiver, IR stands for infrared. This is heartbeat sensor and many more. So let's see. Now this is first sensor which is called as HCSR04. This is ultrasonic sensor. Now this ultrasonic sensor has a transmitter and receiver built in on it, and this transmitter and receiver, what it will do, it will transmit the light and it will receive back. So what this sensor does, it calculates the time period between the transmission and reception and converts into distance. So this is helpful in finding out the distance. Second is the obstacle sensor. In this obstacle sensor there is an infrared transmitter. This is a IR LED and this is a photodiode. So blue is the transmitter and white is the receiver. So it will transmit infrared rays, and with obstacle this rays will be reflected and it will be captured by the photodiode. So this is basically to find out obstacle. So IR sensor can also be used for finding the obstacle. Obstacle sensor can also be used to find out the obstacle, but this sensor cannot be used to calculate distance. That is, obstacle sensor cannot be used to calculate distance, whereas IR sensor can be used, I'm sorry, ultrasonic sensor can be used to find out distance. So that is a difference between the IR sensor and ultrasonic sensor. The next sensor, this is called as soil moisture sensor. Now the soil moisture sensor will give the moisture of the soil. So this, when probes are put in the mud, it will sense the humidity and it will give the humidity, and depending upon this humidity you can control the flow of water. So it can be used for irrigation system, plant watering system, and many more. Even this can be used to have a water level control in a tank. Coming to the next, this is called as sound sensor, and this is called as mic. This is capacitor mic. So this will give presence and absence of, what do you say, sound. This next is accelerometer. This next is light sensor, and this is temperature sensor or thermal sensor. So here this component is called as LDR, light dependent resistor, and this is called as thermistor. Thermistor is always NTC, negative temperature coefficient. So this negative temperature coefficient means as the temperature increases, its resistance will decrease. Now friends, if you can see, this sensor has 3 outputs. This has 4, this has 4, this has 3, and this has 4. So the sensors which have 3 outputs are generally digital sensors. One for VCC, one for ground, and third is a digital pin. But the sensor which have 4 pins will be having 1 pin for VCC, 1 pin for ground, 1 for digital output, and 1 for analog output. So the sensors like soil moisture, sound, this light, they can give me analog quantity also, that is variation with respect to time. So these sensors can be used as digital as well as analog sensors. Friends, digital sensors can be interfaced with line D0 to D13, whereas analog sensors can be interfaced to line A0 to A15. So again friends, this differentiation can give you one more question. So these are few more sensors. This is a gas sensor. Now it can detect the gas like oxygen, methane, then LPG, CNG. So for different sensors or different gases, there are different sensors. And this is MQ series. There is MQ2, MQ3, MQ4, and there are lot many. So out of that, MQ2 is for LPG and MQ135 is for air purity finding. And this is vibration sensor. Now in this, there is a 3 pins, means it's a digital sensor. So it will give presence and absence of vibration. But if you see gas sensor, there are 4 pins. So it will give presence and absence of gas. Also, it will give up to what extent the gas is there in the atmosphere. So next is this PIR sensor. It is also called as passive infrared or pyroelectric infrared. This sensor is basically giving me presence and absence of human being. So it can be used for human detection system. The next is fire sensor. Again, this is the receiver, and this receiver is a photodiode. But in this thing, this will give me presence and absence, as well as it will give me the wavelength, or depending upon the wavelength, it will give me the intensity of the fire. Again, to this sensor, there are 4 pins, so it will give analog as well as digital output. So digital output will give you how intense is the fire, whereas analog output will give you how intense is the fire, whereas digital output will give you presence and absence of fire. The next sensor is DHT11. This DHT11 is temperature and humidity sensor, 2 in 1. And friends, in this sensor there is a specialty. This small sensor has 8-bit controller built on it. So this will give me digital signal directly. Fine. So let's see the further. What are actuators? Now actuators are the output devices. So an actuator is a component of a machine that is responsible for moving and controlling the mechanism. Now like relays, motors, these are actuators. So they are also termed as movers. So this actuator requires a control signal and a source of energy. So any actuator will have VCC, ground, as well as some digital input. Now this actuator will move or control some mechanism, and actuator in turn controls a signal into mechanical action. Now relay, if I give signal to relay, it will convert into on off and switch. If I give a signal to motor, it will give a rotatory movement. So these are, and suppose if I am giving a signal to a buzzer, it will make a audible output. So these are actuators. So actuators may be of type hydraulic, pneumatic, electric, and mechanical. But here I am not discussing anything. Only just these are the 4 types. For pneumatic, we can give example. Pneumatic actuators are available in bus, which has air braking system. Now here there are different examples, that is like a relay, solenoids, motor, and switches. Let's see one by one in detail. Now these are the different types of relays. So the relay can be used to control a high voltage application with the Arduino's output. Now Arduino output is up to 5 volts, but if I want to control 230 volts, definitely I need relay, or more than that I need a relay. Now how relay works? So in a relay there is a coil, fine, and this is a spring. There is a coil here. So when a signal is given to this coil, this armature will move up and down. So this is normally closed and this is normally open. But the moment a signal is given to a relay, this point will shift down, and the device connected to this point and this point will start functioning. Let's see in the example. Now this is the relay coil. So if you see the connection, this relay is connected to a transistor which is called as a driver, because relay has a copper coil and my Arduino cannot drive that copper coil directly. So I have to use transistor as a driver circuit. So in Arduino block diagram, I've told you what is the function of driver. Now the moment I give signal to this transistor, this relay coil will get magnetized. And once it magnetized, this lever from normally closed will move to normally open. So this lever will shift here. And the moment it shifts here, this circuit is completed. And this completing circuit will turn on the lamp. But the moment this current is removed, this coil gets demagnetized. And this demagnetized coil will again shift back the lever, which will break the connection. And the lamp will go off. So in this way, I can control a high voltage application with a low voltage output of an Arduino. So these are the solenoids. Now these solenoids are used in bells. They can be used in doors. Now you can see our ding dong bell. There is a solenoid. So there is a 2 metal wire and there is a solenoid moving in between. Fine. Solenoids can be used for generating noise. They can be used for opening the door, closing the door. Even in the water taps also solenoids can be used. So the solenoids can move up and down, which may obstruct the flow of water, and it can go up and down, so obstruct and allow the flow of water. This can be done with the help of solenoid valves. Coming to the next, there is a geared motor. These motors, what they do basically, they convert your digital signal into an mechanical movement. Now, these motors are of different types. These are geared motors, so they are continuous rotating motor. So they will move on continuously. So this is a gear, and with the gears, I can control the speed. Then comes DC motor. These are the motor which will move very fast. With a very small motor, it will start moving. Then comes stepper motor. Stepper motor is a special motor which will move in steps. So if you want to see more about stepper motor, see my video of output devices. And then this is a servo motor. Now the servo motor is a control motor in which I can control the angle of movement. So friends, again, depending upon these different types of motors, there may be some few questions for you. So this is a stepper motor. Stepper motor can be used in robotic arms. They can be used in conveyor belts. They can be used to lift something. So these are the different applications of stepper motor. And as the name suggests, stepper means moving in steps. So these are the special type of motors which will move in steps. Next comes the servo motor. Now servo motor will move in particular angle or particular movement. So this, suppose this is a robotic arm. This one to pick up, so the movement will be this much. This jaw movement will be this much, and this movement can be from this point to this point. So this pickup also will have some specific movement. So this is basically your capping machine. So this will hold the cap and rotate it. So this rotation is fixed. You move, come back, and it will rotate the cap or fix the cap. So such type of applications like wiper movement can be done with the help of servo motors, or in the robotic creepers, small creepers which are moving, crawlers we can say. In crawlers also we can use servo motors. Now let's see one by one different applications or the interfacing of the devices with Arduino. Now this is a fire sensor, a buzzer, and the LED. So these three things are interfaced. Now for writing the code, what we have to do in pin mode function, what I'm supposed to do is, in pin mode function, I'll define one pin as an input for the fire sensor. So that pin is pin number 8. And I'll define two pin as output. That is a pin number 5 for buzzer and pin number 3 for LED. Now in this way, what I can do, I can control the buzzer. So if the fire is there, it will blink and give the buzzing sound. So friends, let's see the example of fire sensor, or the code of any one sensor. I'll explain you. So let's see the code of sensor. I'm opening code for fire sensor. So pin number 8 I have used to input, and pin number 3 and 5 I've connected to LED and buzzer respectively. So let's see what is the code of fire sensor. So friends, this is a code for fire sensor where I have used LED, buzzer, and fire sensor, and there is a variable called as get fire sensor status, which will read the status of fire sensor. So for LED pin number 3, for buzzer pin number 5, and for fire sensor there is pin number 8. Now in setup function, I have defined LED as output, buzzer as input, and fire as input, and also I have initiated a serial communication. So this will give the status on serial monitor whether my fire is breaked out or not, or presence or absence of fire. So let's see in the loop what is happening. In loop, there is a digital read signal. This digital read signal will have a fire sensor, and it will give its status, that is presence and absence of fire. So if it is low means presence of fire. Now it may be reverse also. Some sensors may give high, that is presence of the thing. Like say obstacle sensor, for obstacle it may go high, and when there is no obstacle it may go low. Let's say your touch sensor may be low on touch and high on no touch. So depending upon what condition it is giving, I can change this high and low. So low means fire is sensed. When the fire is sensed, it will turn on the LED, it will turn on the buzzer, and it will write on the serial monitor that fire is detected and some delay. And if it find high, means there is no fire, means the LED will be low, buzzer will be low, and fire status will be low. So friends, this is a simple code in which I've explained you how a fire sensor can be interfaced. So any digital sensor, whether it's a fire sensor, obstacle sensor, temperature sensor, gas sensor, touch sensor, this all can be interfaced in the same way. The only thing which you have to keep in mind is status, whether it's giving high or low. If it is giving a high on activation, you have to change the condition here, and if it gives low on the activation, you have to change the conditions. So I hope friends this code is clear to you, and now let's move back to our circuit. So here again I'm back. So this is my fire sensor. Now in all the circuits you will see there is only change in the sensor. So if I take the next, this is a gas sensor. So again it is connected to pin number 8. So again I have to see whether my gas is giving status high and low on presence and absence. So I have to do the changes in the same code which I have explained you. Only one line will change, that is if condition. That if condition change will change my code for gas. Again, presence and absence, you can blink the LED and buzz the buzzer. So the next is obstacle sensor. Now friends, in obstacle sensor also the same. Just I have to change the line for obstacle sensor, and you can make the same code for working with obstacle sensor. Now same is with the touch sensor. So even in touch also you can write the code for high and low. The only thing is, repeatedly I'm telling, you have to find out what is the status and presence and absence. If presence is high, you will turn on the LED on high. If presence is low, you will turn on the LEDs on low. So this is how you have to work out. This is water sensor. Now this water sensor can be used again with high and low conditions. So friends, just by using digital write, I can turn on the LED with high, I can turn on the buzzer with high, I can rotate the motor with high. So digital write can function can write on my LED, write on my buzzer, and write on my motor. So these are digital read. Even relay, even if I want to control a relay, I have to use digital write. So all these 3-4 devices like the LED, relay, motor, buzzer are working with digital write. Same way, my fire sensor, my touch sensor, my obstacle sensor, my temperature sensor, and my gas sensor are working with digital read. So digital read and digital write. I hope this much is clear. So this is one of the applications where I've used relay. Now in this relay, this red wire is for VCC, black wire is for ground, and I'm using pin number 10 to control my relay. Now when I'll keep this as low, if I'm writing digital write low here on this pin number 10, the relay will be in the off state and my device will be off, because the connection is not completed from here to here. But the moment I write 1 here, this 1 will turn on the relay, it will make the connection, and my device will get turned on. In this way, I can control a high voltage application. Now, instead of this bulb, if I remove this bulb and connect a water motor, it will start that water motor. If I remove this water motor and if I connect my sound system, it will control my sound system. So this is the output part, how I can control a high voltage application. Now coming to the next, there is a motor. Now this is a system where if somebody comes on the door should get open. So what will happen? This is IR sensor. This IR sensor is nothing but your obstacle sensor. So it will detect there is somebody as at the door. So what will happen? It will give signal to motor and the door will get open. And the moment it removes the signal, even the door will get closed. In this way, I can use the obstacle sensor. So I hope this much is clear and you are understanding how to do the interfacing with respect to Arduino. And all this, whether you are controlling a motor or whether you are controlling a buzzer or relay, you have to write digital write, and for reading you have to read digital read. The only thing is, using pin mode, you have to define the respective pins as high and low. So this is DHT11. Now while interfacing DHT11, I have to keep in mind that this is not a digital sensor. This sensor has a controller on it and it will give me data of 40 bits. Now these 40 bits are divided in block of 5 bytes. First byte which comes is humidity high, second is humidity low, third is temperature high, fourth is temperature low, and fifth is a parity bit. Now friends, I've told you I have limited time, so I cannot discuss more. So if you want to see details about my DHT, you have to go and see my video on this particular sensor, that is DHT11. So I've shown how to interface, how to read the data. Now to interface this digital sensor, that is DHT11, I have to use a class called as DHT11, because this controller gives data in the different pattern as compared to my other sensors which we have discussed. So to read this data, I have to use the DHT class. So let's see code for this particular sensor. So friends, on the screen you can see the DHT code. So I have to include a package or the header file called as DHT, and this DHT is the object. I have defined the pin number and I've initiated the serial communication. So here I have created the object. DHT is connected to my pin number 5. Now here I'll read DHT.read 11 and the pin number. So this time I'm not using digital read. Keep that in mind. I'm using the read function of that particular object which is defined of or which is a part of DHT. And what I'm doing is I'm writing dht.temperature. So it will read the temperature from those 40 byte and it will display the temperature on serial monitor. Same way I can read the humidity. So the serial.print will write the data to serial monitor. Serial.begin will initiate the serial communication, and in this way my interfacing of DHT can be done. So again friends, if you want to see the details and more details, you can see my video on DHT. So friends, let's move back to our presentation. Fine. I hope it is clear. Now, as I've told you that Arduino can be very fun in experimenting, and I can enjoy doing some experiments on this. And one more thing, uh, we can convert what idea is in your mind if a sensor is available into some particular hardware. Now, one fine day when I was sitting, I thought why I shouldn't convert this something what I have in Arduino to fight with a social distancing in this COVID-19. So what I did, I have used two ultrasonic sensor. Now these ultrasonic sensors can be connected to front of a body and back of a body, and I've set a limit to 2 meters. So if somebody is there in front of me within 2 meters and back within 2 meters, I can get beep. So my system will start beeping. Beep tones are different. So by just beep tones, I can understand whether a person in front is near to me or in my back is near to me. So friends, if you want to see more thing on tone generation, you can see the video on my channel with audio tone generation. So very nice application of the distance I've converted into social distancing. So friends, I felt very nice when I've created this application, and I've tested this on my son. A video is also available in the channel with the name of social distancing. So if you are interested, you can go and see and find out the code for that particular system. So now coming to the next, how I can use relay for controlling my home automation. So now in this diagram, what you can see is there is a fan, there is a tube light, and there is a bulb. So all these three are working on 230 volts. So I've used three relays, and connection is done in such a way that all these live wires are common, and the another point is connected to device. So this becomes a switch which can be on and off. Now to make this on and off, I have to use these pins. Here the pins used are 10, 12, 11, 12 and 13. Pins which are used are 11, 12 and 13. So if I give high on pin number 11, so my tube light will get turned on. If I give high on pin number 12, the fan will turn on. And if I give 13 on pin number high on pin number 13, my bulb will turn on. Now friends, depending upon the different sensors connected, suppose if I'm connecting a temperature sensor, I can turn on and off the fan. If I'm connecting a LDR, that is light dependent resistor, so in the daytime this bulb can be off, which may be a dim light bulb, and in the night time it can be turned on. And this can be in the reverse function, that I'm sorry, even the same thing, this can be turned on in the night time, and after some specific time this can be turned on. So depending upon the sensors which are connected at the input, I can turn on these devices on and off. So for reading the sensors, I will use digital read, and writing to device, I'll write digital write. Now suppose if I have to turn on LED, what will be my command? Digital write. Now what is its pin number? 11 comma high. So with digital write 11 comma high, my tube light will get turned on. With digital write 11 comma low, my tube light will get turned off. Same way I can turn on fan and bulb. So again, this is the same application. So instead of fan, tube light and bulb, I've connected 4 bulbs in the 4 relays. So you can connect n number of such devices to my n number of relays. But if I'm using Arduino Uno, I can only connect 14 devices, or combination of input and output as 14. Other way around, I can take 6 analog sensors and 14 output devices. So I can correct 20 combinations. I hope friends this much is clear to you. And thank you very much for waiting since early morning 10 o'clock till this time. And within some time, I'll be starting with the test. So I hope you will be scoring nice and you might have enjoyed all the four sessions of my the happening event in this lockdown. That is one day IoT workshop. This is the biggest happening event of its own type in this lockdown in this particular field. Fine. So that's all from the Kavedia sir. And if really you have liked this event, just give me a feedback in the comment box so that I can organize such more events in the due course of time, which will definitely enhance your knowledge. Have a nice time. Enjoy. Stay safe. Stay at home.